favorite TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
Morning, this is Wednesday Morning Digest, and this is yet another day to find the opportunities and make use of them, and above all, to be able to maximize on every opportunity. Somebody say that every opportunity must meet preparedness. So preparedness becomes one of the key things that you and I must do to be able to harness and to be able to take advantage of every opportunity that comes our way. Remember, this is Elevate Television, Advancing Kingdom Lifestyle. And before we go to our topic today, we need to go back to Facebook and YouTube. Please, let's go there quickly. You know the drill. Let's pick the link. Is already out. The link is already out. And, yep, is out. And you can share it. Share it to all your friends. Share it in your circles. Let everybody get the opportunity. The greatest thing you can give anyone is not money. The best thing you can give anyone is an opportunity, because the opportunity will cause them to expand, it will cause them to grow, it will cause them even to increase in the way they operate. And so our work on the Wednesday Morning Digest is to find the opportunities and to bring them to you. Today, well, I have a great panel, and as we begin the show this morning, I am seated with Collins. We call him Collins Otas. Collins Otas has been with young people. He's been able to mobilize groups, been able to train them, been able to help them to create sustainable groups that can be able to channel, that can be able to be channeled to funds that can help young people, and has worked with lots of opportunities in government and also outside here. And so today we are gathered with him, and later in the show we are going to be gathered with Maina Karobia, the national UDA youth leader. And so you don't want to miss this, and you want to be part of this. So let me welcome you, Otas. Karibu Morning Digest.
Thank you, Moses.
When the works.
This is, I was almost saying this is Nico Wax, but I remember this Morning Digest. So it's been a long time coming. I'm so happy to be on board here and just to join you this morning. Just talk about the opportunities that the young people have in government.
Many people don't know who you are.
Oh, they don't know
so
who
I
I
want
am.
you to look at that camera and introduce yourself. Just introduce yourself
okay.
For the sake of that one.
So this is my camera, right? Okay.
Yes.
I'm Collins Otas. I am a young man. I'm a Kenyan. I am a resident of Nairobi. I work with an organization which is ASAGA. ASAGA is a semi-autonomous government agency where we ensure that women and young people get access to government opportunities and funds. So basically that's what I do in the city, plus I also do other things on the sidelines, which might not be relevant in the show as at now. But in terms of opportunities, I think that introduction fits it well.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're looking at opportunities. Today our topic will be opportunities in government.
Yeah.
We have a new government, I think 30-something days now.
Yeah.
A few days. They've not had been in many days, though we have a lot of expectation. They made a lot of promises. They made a lot of statements, and we are looking.
Yeah.
We are watching.
And the good thing is when everybody haggles for power, when they go out and campaign, they bring forth their manifestos and they tell people everything that they're going to do. And the way they are blaming each other, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. Now they have the opportunity to prove to us that indeed they meant well for us. And I'm very particular with the youth because remember before the elections, they did the youth chat at Nyayo Stadium.
Yeah, they did.
And I'm looking at it in the sense that the cabinet has been named, for instance. And they were like, they're going to give a share of the cabinet to the young people.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that has not happened. But it is not all lost because the PSS have been shortlisted and the interviews are going on. I'm hoping that at least the PSS will have some young people.
Yeah.
The other day, the Public Service Commission advertised for the CS public participation to take place. I hope when those opportunities come, the young people can still find something.
Yeah.
You know.
We need those young people to get those opportunities because of course the youth charter has not been put in public, but I know one of the things that was in that youth charter was that the government is going to give leadership opportunities to young people, and as much as those who won elections are youthful, you know, a bigger percentage. I think we have to give it to them. They gave in their is it cabinet? Their cabinet has more women.
Yeah.
I mean that one is a plus. But our youth, we must fight for them until we see that aspect of the youthful, you know, the youthful face of this government, because we are used to you know, there was a joke in the last government. Our youth are 80 years old.
but again, you see, Pastor Moses, looking at it critically again, you see when a new administration, I don't want to say government because governments never change.
Yes.
When a new administrations come on board, there are always modalities, there are always systems in place that should be working. So even for the young people, as we look towards the new administration, we should be asking ourselves, have we taken advantage of the systems, the opportunities that exist in government, as it were? Because, you know, governments do not change, just the administration, the leadership, and what have you. So as at now, maybe what we could be asking ourselves is, how many youth out here are aware that the government has something called Youth Enterprise Development Fund?
Leave alone that. I'm just, when you said that, I said something. Government operates through systems.
Yes.
You know, government is not just something you walk in, walk out. There are systems, and that's why you find government has what you call different arms. And so those systems, you know why, one of the things, somebody said to me something very amazing another time. He said, many people want things from government, but many people don't want to learn how government operates.
Exactly.
Because you see, government has a way it does things. It will not just give you a job.
Yeah.
It will not just give you money. It will not just give you an opportunity. There is a system that is set out how you access blessed money, access opportunities, access even those CSs. They have to go through vetting.
Vetting, yeah.
Are you ready for that vetting?
Yeah.
Are you ready for that kind of, you know, that kind of? Are you strong? You know, it's not like a normal government, you know, a business interview. You go for an interview, you come out, you know you have a job or you don't. This is a vetting. And then they also need to understand, here there are also what you call tribal balances. There are also regional balances.
You must bring out the face of Kenya.
Yes. So I think that is also something we also need to come to terms with. And maybe you're going to educate us on that one. And one of the systems you're talking about is like the Youth Enterprise Fund.
Yes. Now, within it was ICT and youth, but you see the new government has said that youth affairs will go with sports. You know, there's been a restructuring of the ministries, but as at now, it is under the Ministry of ICT and Youth. So the Youth Enterprise Development Fund, as it were, funds groups and young people who are entrepreneurs. Now, for you to be called a group, according to the Kenyan legal standards, you must be at least a minimum of 10 people in a group. Then the group has to elect leaders, where leaders in government circles are the chairperson, the secretary, and the treasurer. Those ones must be there, and they must be below 35 years. Then once you have all this documentation, you do write your minutes, where you write, on such a day we decided to form a group, call ourselves Moses and Otas youth group, you know.
No, you can't call it that. We have to look for even our deputy president's name was changed, so it must be Motas.
Yeah, exactly. The Motas youth group, you know, and then now we go to the social development office, where they'll guide us on.
Let me stop you.
Yes.
And ask, you know, assuming, I don't know, I want you to go through that process again. What do I need? First of all, you just said you need to be 10. Do we need to be registered?
Exactly. So that's the procedure I was bringing along.
Okay.
So the first thing is we gather 10 of us. We agree. This is our vision. This is what we want to achieve. Say in 1, 2, 3 years or something. Then now after we have a common goal as a group of 10. Now that is now an entity, but it can't be a legal entity until it is registered. So where do we do the registration? We do it at the Social Development Office. These offices are in every sub-county in the entire country. Nairobi, we have 17 sub-counties. So we have 17 social development officers in Nairobi. In every sub-county, there is a development officer under the Ministry of Labor and Social Services.
Wow.
So once you step into this office, they'll give you the requirements, but I'm privileged to have known these requirements. So one of the requirements they'll ask you is to do a minute showing that indeed you agree to form a group. Number two, you must have a constitution that governs your group on if a member wants to join, if a member wants to leave, how much savings do we have per month, when, how often do we meet, such like things. After that, then they'll give you a form that you'll fill so that you can open a bank account, because it is them who will recommend you to whichever bank you choose.
Okay.
So what they normally tell people is, before you bring forth people to sign as bank signatories, please make sure that you trust these people, you know them. Because many are the times that even the government will fund a group and it's only 2 people or 3 people will get this money and run away with it. And that is the unfortunate bit. So
but why should they run away? Are there no systems within the government agency that is funding to keep a tab on them?
There is a system to keep a tab on them, yes. But you see what happens, Moses, is that the government will not give you cash. The money will either be advanced through EFT to your account, or you'll get a check.
Yes.
And the check is written in the name of the group.
The group, yes.
So then maybe the group will take the check to the bank. Now the issue comes at the point of withdrawal. Because these people, the mandatory withdrawal signature may be 2. And maybe there are 3. So the 2 of them can collude and go and withdraw the money, minus the knowledge of the members. So then the members will be kept waiting until pesa bado hajatokea, bado tumeenda bank hiyo kitu bado hajatokea. And I've handled such cases. And I know with the young people, you know the dynamics of young people. So that's why they're normally told, before you come forth, please make sure you've known this guy for at least 3 months, know where they are coming from, ushago. Because if it's just knowing about where they stay here in Nairobi, many are the times that people will get money and shift. Anaishi Komarok leo, then anapata pesa kesho, ameenda Westlands. You will not trace him easily. And they even change funds. So the people are normally encouraged to join Kwanzaa before we come forth to seek this government funding. So we were at the process of registration and opening a bank account.
Yes.
So once you open this bank account, now you can approach Youth Enterprise Development Fund and tell them we are registered, we are Otas Youth Group, we are based in Komarok, we do maybe garbage collection. We project that in a year we will be making maybe say 200,000 per month or per year or whatever it is. Then you come with that, and then the Youth Enterprise Development Fund officer, who again is based at the sub-county level, will be able to look at your proposal, and then he will be able to recommend you by giving you a form of application of loan. And it is very interesting that these loans do not accrue any interest. The only thing that the government charges is a processing fee of 5%.
Of the loan?
Of the loan, yes. And the loans start from 100,000, 200,000, 350,000, up to 1 million. And based on the need and how you framed your proposal, you can get our 750 first time, or you can get 100,000. So these are some of the opportunities and the systems that are in place in government that the young people may need to look at as at now, even before we think about the Hustler Fund and what have you. Yes.
I'm just thinking about it. Let's not go to the Hustler Fund for now. I'm just thinking about what you've just said. In my mind, I'm processing that that is information that is not in the domain. Because, you know, normally, Kenya is a group nation. You find groups everywhere you go, whether they are old people or young people. You'll always find groups. But then the wisdom to translate those groups into income generating activities, into income generating groups. Because you see, people in one community know their ills. Just like you know the ills in your house. People in one community know their ills, and they know, I mean, if we did this and this and this, we can make this and this, and even create employment for some people. Because I saw some project in Dandora. you know, Dandora, especially near the dump site, it was called, it was a bad place, you know, people, guns, you know, all those kind of things. But you go there now, the guys just transformed themselves into a group, created work, made it a safe area. In fact, now it's one of the safest areas. You can walk in and walk out, because they discovered making it an unsafe area is actually working against themselves.
And I think the same thing has also happened in Korogocho. We have a Korogocho Green Park.
Yes, I saw it.
You cannot know you are in Korogocho.
Exactly. So people are beginning to come to terms. I mean, this is our area. I mean, nobody will change it for us. The MCA, once he gets into City Hall, that's it. He's begun, you know, he's now making deals. Very many are actually not in touch with their grounds. So you find if these people don't create themselves and work out something for themselves, whether it's the women, whether it's the young people, or even the older, elderly people, then they will stay in the same squalor. And we are talking about young people and the opportunities. Are you trying to tell me the only opportunities the young people have is the Youth Enterprise Fund?
That is just one of them. But there's so many other opportunities. You see, opportunities can also do not necessarily translate to money, as it were. We also have the county government, which has the vocational training centers. And these vocational training centers, many of the times that these students are sponsored. So you pay half the fee. The other bit is covered by the county and donors who support the county.
Okay.
So like right now we have the Safaricom Foundation that is offering sponsorship to students in the Nairobi County. Now I'm very specific. Nairobi County Vocational Training Centers. Once you get these skills and once you graduate, they also ensure that you are attached somewhere. So that they ensure that at the end of the day you don't go back to where you are. Because some of these students who go to these schools, there are people who are trying to reform, there are people who have come from very hardship background and what have you. So it becomes very easy for the young people to also think along the lines of how do I enhance my skills and how can I turn these skills into opportunities. We have the government rolling the KYOP project, which is normally a national government project.
Kenya Youth
Employment Opportunities Program.
Okay.
That is the national government project funded by the World Bank.
Okay.
Now in this KYOP, we have people who are being given donation in terms of cash grants, where people who are attached to skills-based training, and we have people who are being taught life skills.
Okay.
Now every other year, like Nairobi in particular, they take over 1,000 students. Yes, they take over 1,000 young people every other year. And even this year, I think the process of recruitment is ongoing. And you see, many of the times that the young people look at this and they're like, because they're normally paid 3,000 per month. So some people are like, hey, 3,000, you're kidogo. But you see, what you don't know is that when you're getting that 3,000, you're getting the skills.
The skill.
Once you are done with that mechanic for those 6 months, you can even start your own mechanic shop. Because normally what happens at the end of those training, you are asked, do you want to be employed or do we buy you the tools of trade so that you can start yours? So, so once you are done, you have bought those tools of trade, you can start your own mechanic shop, you can start your own car wash, you can start your own, you become self-employed. But most of the young people, the challenge that the sub-county youth officers normally have with them is that they cannot, always vumilia you 6 months. 6 months, you know, you have to report every day. There's that
roll call.
There's that roll call. Excuse me. There's that roll call that is being marked every other day by we call them employers.
Yes.
So once you miss, then there will be a problem. Now that's where the challenge sets in.
So, as we also keep saying that there are opportunities there actually are opportunities in government for you.
So many.
And amazing somebody told me something very interesting. He said in government, the greatest people don't have about government is information, because there's a lot of information. See, like that is information I did not know. How that there are jobs out there. I mean, the KYOP thing. Now, and then at the end of it is that you get
you bought the tools of trade.
The tools of trade, and you're released to go either to work or to be employed. Tell me, so is it sometimes when we say government is not giving young people opportunities, Is it sometimes the young who are not ready? Because like you have said, some will miss the roll call, some will see the 3,000 as nothing.
Yes.
So could it be actually we are blaming government while government is doing its job?
I think for me, you know, most of the people look at it. You see, government is me and you.
Yes.
Without us, there is no government.
Allah.
So when you want to look at it like government is some entity seated that side, and I'm on this other side, then you'll have a problem with it. Now, my point is, we need to create a bridge so that I know where the sub chief office is, because all these recruitments are done from the sub chief level. Then the sub chief will take them to the chief. Then the chief will go to the DCC.
Do you know the other day, I walked out of my house to go and know our chief. I did not know my chief, my area chief.
Now you see.
That means, that's me.
Yes.
There are thousands of young people who don't know their chief. And now, if you don't know the chief, will you know the sub-chief?
Now, I think it's very high time that we just walk into these offices. Because there was also a time, by the way, that the government was offering funds for agriculture in Nairobi. For young people who are interested in agriculture. And I was talking to our area chief. My area chief is somewhere in Komarok. And I asked her how many people have applied. And she was like, do you know, I only have 5 young people. 5 people only. 5.
Do you
the
want...
money was from 250,000 to around 750,000.
What
only
are you saying?
5 came forward.
What are
to
you
apply
saying?
for that thing.
What are you saying? So that means, literally, there's a lot of government for young people, but then I think the young people are not interested. Or the information, I think, okay, the dissemination of information is also something wanting. But then, the one who is in need should find the information.
Exactly. I think we as young people, we need to have a resolve to walk into offices, knock doors and ask questions, because the chief might not come to my house to tell me this and this is happening. You see, once they are placed on those notice boards,
yes,
they assume that people
will come by.
People will come by and read those notice boards. And when you see Pastor Moses, even if you don't even do the chiefs, and maybe you're saying, me, I've gone to school and what have you, I have a degree, blah, 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 and what have you. We also have the public service internship.
Public service internship.
And this one is paid internship. And
wow.
The public service is very categorical. The minimum you can pay an intern is 20,000, and it is tax-free.
What are you saying?
So interns who apply through the public service, they are taken to various government departments, sagas, MDAs, and what have you, and then they are paid 20,000 every month. Like where I work, we have 2 interns right now who are brought by the Public Service Commission.
What are you saying?
June this year, there were new applications, so I think they'll be absorbed somewhere towards December. They do another 1 year. So it's a 1-year thing, and you're paid 20,000. And every government department is aware, whether you work at the chief's office or whether you work at the SDO, they know you must be paid, and that is something that they must budget for every other financial year.
So literally, there are opportunities out here.
Yes, yes.
Why do we... I'm amazed. How do we then position ourselves in a way that this information is coming and is being utilized? Because, you know, again, is it that the young... Or let me put it this way, maybe this one will help. I think we are not interested in government.
I think there has been a misconception among the young people that the government does not care about you. The government is for the old people, you know, the government cannot make your life change, you know, the government is not lucrative. So once people finish school, they want to work with, I have nothing against Safaricom, but they want to work with the Safaricom's of this world, you know, and the banks.
No, I have a comment here, and somebody is already blaming the president. He's saying he's concentrating on rewarding his allies. But he should also consider many Kenyan youth who are learned and have no jobs. But these guys are not willing to go and get the information.
Now, I cannot speak for the president.
No, I'm just saying, it's online.
Yeah, it's online. I know. But you see, everybody's entitled to their opinion. However, I think it's too early to start blaming the president, if you ask me.
Yeah.
He's barely done even 100 days in office. The government appointments have not been exhausted. We still have ambassadors, the CS, the PS, the high commissioners, the directors of various boards. We have various parastatals, the CEOs will change. We have various MDAs and sagas that are going to be affected by appointment. So by him just talking about the cabinet alone and blaming the president, to me, I think that would be quite harsh to the president as at now. Let's wait, give him time, constitute the entire government.
But I think anyway, when it comes to the cabinet, of course, any administration will put its foot soldiers.
Yeah, exactly.
And the people they made deals with. Now, we may need to go for a break, but
right.
Before we do, I'm just thinking about that information you're giving me. That means if those who are looking for internship, it is there.
It is there.
All they need to do is organize themselves, find the information from their sub-chief's office, and go and apply. Number two, those who are looking for skill training, it is there.
It is there.
Because, do you know, by the way, what you call skilled labor is lacking in our community right now. I've seen, where I stay, we have a big WhatsApp group. Every single day, somebody is asking for a plumber. Every single day, they are looking for an electrician. So the other day, there was a very interesting debate on that chat. There's a guy, you ask for a plumber, he gives you a number. You ask for an electrician, he gives you a number. But it is the same guy who comes. So they were saying he's an electrical plumber.
That's how to survive.
But then you see the guy is skilled.
Yeah.
When he comes to do electricals in your house, he will do everything electrical. When you ask him to come and do plumbing, he will come and do plumbing as it is needed. So that means that a guy who got skill and he's marketable. If you look, you will still come back to him. And these are the jobs people don't want.
Unfortunately, we've been lied to, and allow me to use that word. We've been lied to that it is only the white-collar jobs that pay, and that the blue-collar job is not paying. Unfortunately, right now, Germany, for instance, is importing plumbers, electricians, and what of the blue-collar job seekers have so many opportunities in Europe than the white-collar job seekers. Because nobody's interested on the English, on the Kiswahili, on the grammar. People are interested in what can you do.
Yes.
So until we come to that point where we realize that skills are more important than even papers. I'm not saying you don't go to school, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
Of course you have to go to school. But we have cartoon graduates. So you can go to school and you become a cartoon graduate. You cannot even fix a simple remote battery. So so it's not about the school as it were. Yeah.
Amazing. I tell you, my mind is just running around. Because I have a few number of young people who told me they have no jobs. They're waiting for jobs. They're waiting for opportunities. So I think I'm starting to get something to talk to them about.
There are opportunities.
Now, before we are going to go for a break shortly.
All right.
I'm threatening. Threatening.
This is the second threat.
Tell me about that means if government have all those opportunities, how does government then create a way to meet these young people? Or government is that channel you said?
Now, you see, I think we need to understand how the structure of government operates in regards to young people. We have the ministry at the top. Then we have the State Department of Youth. That's where the National Youth Council comes. The Youth Enterprise Development Fund comes. Then we have the county youth offices. Then we have the sub-county youth offices. Now, it is not possible for you to move from the sub-county direct to the ministry. Because they'll ask you, okay, where is your project? My project maybe is in Komarok. So who's the sub-county officer in charge of Komarok? So then you go back to the sub-county. But you see, many other times, we want to get the number of the CS, the PS, and you want to take selfies with them, and you want to get ready to meet them and what have you. We fail to take into account the fact that there's a process that it goes through. Because hata ukikimbia huko mbele, Utarudishwa, because whoever will do assessment is the sub-county youth officer.
Wow.
So you need to understand how these things operate.
So there's a system and there's a way things work.
Yes, yes.
Can't jump the line.
Can't just learn.
Well, we're going to go for a break. And as we go for a break, we are going to come back. And one of the things we're going to look at, how do you go through the system? Because there's a system in government. Government is not a market. You'll have to go through a system that is laid out. And we want to find those opportunities, but you must be willing to go the long haul and get to them. Let's see you after the break.
All right.
The GG Report.
I am in this thing because my nation is lacking in shepherdhood.
Kenya needs a reboot.
Right.
It needs a reset.
A show with big, bold ideas and honest conversations.
Do we value this country?
So why is it that we are allowing our pulpit to be soiled with words?
Honest conversations that educate, transform.
What are the challenges that are facing African economies?
If you look at any of our systems in Africa, it is still primarily somewhat paper-based.
An advanced kingdom lifestyle.
We may have so many ideas,
Yes.
but we must narrow down and decide as a people,
Yes.
as a country,
Yes.
and as a nation,
Yes.
this is what we want to do.
No time better than now
Yes.
to be tapping into the mind of God and the Spirit of God for guidance.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Hosted by Pastor Godfrey Gishuki every Friday 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. exclusively on Elevate TV. In Pillars of Faith.
These truths that we bring out every week around the Word of God, they are meant to strengthen our faith.
Time is a consequence of light. The light you have will inform the time you'll be in.
We seek to fulfill the mandate of the Great Commission.
The purpose of God for believers is for formation of sons.
What are the pillars that we need in our lives?
Bearing fruit is spiritual maturity.
Yeah.
You cannot bear fruit if you're not mature.
That is our agenda, motivation and intention.
Introduce Jesus into the matter, and your times and seasons will shift.
Pillars of Faith, every Tuesday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
My name is Apostle David Juma. I host the Encourage a Pastor program.
God wants the church to operate fully in the supernatural.
Who is ministering to the leaders.
And he said, son, this is going to kill you.
Oh my God.
Because I want to take you places only dead men can walk.
At one point in my house, I just switched off. Najua ile watu wanasema kuhang.
And this show deals with different subjects and matters and issues that concern the pastors and church leaders.
If you receive a prophetic word, the first thing is go back to God.
God values you in the office He has called you to.
So if you're an apostle all the way to a Bible teacher, evangelist, or a prophet, this is your show.
God, who began the good work in you, He will be faithful to bring it to completion.
Every Saturday night at 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, you will be impacted.
The Apostolic Clinic.
Be very careful at what altar you eat.
If you go to those meetings, don't take sides.
This is a show that dwells on issues affecting the body of Christ.
Is our African culture, was it all demonic?
On matters leadership.
Discuss it with their leadership. If they're mature leadership, they will pray about it.
Doctrine.
A practice requires you touch on blood. We know then you are touching on matters of our faith.
Finances.
We should never tithe from a point of legalistic pressure.
And on emerging issues in the society,
you must be committed to your marriage and you must be willing to fight until your marriage is stable.
By giving spiritual diagnosis through the Word of God.
Before you apply scripture, you must understand the context in which it was written and to who it was written to.
Hosted by Pastor D. Mwangi every Monday 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. exclusively on Elevate TV.
Well, welcome back. This is the Morning Digest, Wednesday edition, and we are looking at opportunities in government. And we said opportunity is the greatest thing you can give someone beyond money, because money can get finished, but opportunities expand and they grow and they become ways and means that can affect more and many people. We are looking at the opportunities that government has, or Otas has just broken it down, and the processes of getting to these opportunities. And I promise you that Maina Karobia will be with us, the youth leader for UDA. I mean, the UDA is United Democratic Alliance.
The ruling party.
Right, yeah, the ruling party, as it has been put. And as and it's true, they are the ones that are in power in the administration now. Is a UDA administration, and as usual, every administration there are expectations, and we are expecting. And early in the program, Karobia, we said there was a youth charter, and you must be the genesis. And so you need to tell us, what did you put in there for young people, because it's important for young people, because I'll be also asking you about the same young people on something important. Just give a glimpse, not everything.
Yeah, thank you very much for hosting me here, Moses and Otas. It's good that you have taken time to host me and also have this conversation about the young people. Really, I think it is timely that we are having this conversation as early as now. Even a month has not, I don't think a month has ended. It's good that we're having such a conversation. But from a broader perspective, in July, in June 27th, we signed a youth charter at Nyayo Stadium with His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, the 5th President, witnessed by Kenya Kwanza principals and also the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua. They were present, and a host of youth leaders across the country. And the grand idea was that we really need to move from the periphery as young people and be at the core of decision-making processes. And the youth charter, from a summary point of view, it covered the issues of governance, the issues of economic affairs, and the social affairs. So we subdivided them in those three pillars. From a governance point of view, it's about the appointments, the nomination, and any other opportunity that comes in government in terms of holding a position in government. And to a great extent, we have seen majority of the people that were involved in drawing that youth charter have been nominated as members of county assemblies. Some of them, they have actually been elected as members of parliament and elected as senators and MCs. So to that extent, we have seen our political party, that is the UDA, go and the president himself go to an extra mile of involving young people in the governance sector, or in the governance pillar of his government. We also negotiated on the issue of having a youth ministry. To a great extent, he has ensured that as a youth ministry, it is maintained, because it is the prerogative of the president to say whether he is going to collapse that ministry or it is going to remain, that, like we have seen with the Ministry of Devolution.
Yes.
So we appreciate the President for maintaining the Ministry of the Youth and adding the issue of sports and arts to the whole ministry, because you see arts is actually what you would call, is actually an interest of the youth.
Yeah.
So bringing arts or mainstreaming arts to a state department is actually something that we must commend him for. In regards to the economic pillar, this is where we talked about the Hustler Fund, where young people are going to access seed capitals for their enterprises, for any commercial initiative that you might be having, and you really would want to have the government intervention or government-backed capital so that you can grow your enterprise. On the issue of economy still, there's what you would call, we talked about the creative economy. The creative economy, this is where you have people who have talents, people who are interested in creative industry, like the way we have Elevate TV, and other initiatives that are more inclined to creativity and innovations. His Excellency the President promised that he is going to have a government that prioritizes these initiatives. How did he promise to have it? It's going to ensure that internet, we have government-backed internet, particularly in public installations, where we have a place like a market, a place like a public park, all these places where we have, where people do meet, or where people are majorly populated, we are going to install this internet, and also in schools.
Okay.
From a social perspective, we talked about the issue of drug abuse. And, we said that we are going to be having what you would call counseling centers. This we talked from the point of sub-county level, and we are going to work hand in hand with the county government so that we are able to identify appropriate installation, public installations, where we can have centers, rehabilitation centers, and extension officers from a counseling point of view, so that we have a society or a generation that is self-conscious and that is aware of where they want to go and focused. So that is generally the coverage of the youth charter that was sent by His Excellency the President.
Wow, it covered a lot.
Yes.
So again, there's being in that aspect of crafting that and being able to present it and for him signing.
Yes.
There is a way that will reach the ground. We said that this was a grassroots election.
Yes.
People campaign. It was a grassroots campaign.
Yes.
with the emphasis on the grassroots.
Yes.
How will it go to the grassroots? Noting that the systems of government are still there.
Yes.
You see, government administration is what changes.
Yes.
Government is still there.
Yes.
And the systems that work in. So is it going to work through those systems?
Let me say this, Moses, that people are fully aware of what was signed in the youth charter, because you see our target audience is the youth. Yeah. So we have shared and we continue sharing this document to the people so that they are able to read and know what was promised. And I know that to a great extent, majority of the young people who voted for His Excellency William Samoei Ruto in August was based on the information that they got from that very document. Up to date, I do find people who are still interested with what was signed, and they put ticks on the boxes of what was promised.
Yes.
So that means that people are fully aware of what was promised. In regards to the implementation, you will find that government has a system, as you said. At the top level, at the strategic level, or policy level, we have a president who is a youth champion. We still have a youth ministry, which can make policies that are youth-friendly in terms of creativity, in terms of governance, and in terms of the social aspect. So at the policy level and the strategic level, we are well in place.
Okay.
Because we have the ministry and we have a president who is a champion of youth affairs. How do we cascade that down to the people at the grassroots? That brings the issue of the intergovernmental relations from an implementation point of view. We ensure that what was promised by the president, there is synergy that is built between the governance systems that we have, that is the county government and the national government, so that there are some things that we promised, like for instance, from the social aspect and the governance aspect, I would find it will take close working relationship between the national government and county government to have, for instance, the implementation of youth being involved in governance, maybe from the county level. A youth can be absorbed at the county level to be either a director, a CEC, a CEO, a sub-county admin, a ward admin, and what have you. That is the governance level. Really, I don't think the president, really, all the governance positions can also be absorbed at the national government. There are some that will take the county dimension. Yes, so that is from the governance sector, or from a broader perspective of how we can implement that. So intergovernmental relations, so that there is that synergy, it is one of the mechanisms or approaches that it is going to be used to ensure that what was promised in the charter is actualized. The other thing is that across the departments, you will find there are some departments that we might, there are some ministries that we might need what you would call a youth advisor. So that this youth advisor can be advising various ministers or cabinet secretaries in regards to actualization of the 30% affirmative action that has been placed within our access to government opportunities. So you will find that we might have youth advisors across the ministries, not all ministries, but across the ministries, where you will find these youth advisors, their main job is to ensure that they are able to advise ministries to comply with various promises that were given by His Excellency, the President. So from an executive point of view, these are some of the ways we are going to have this implemented. In regards to also the Hustler Fund, the access to that fund, I saw there is a whole, one of the responsibilities, I think from Prime Cabinet Secretary role, is to ensure that is on public reforms and performance monitoring role, something of the sort. It is one of the roles that the Prime Cabinet Secretary has been given. So that means that one of the roles that he will be having is that he has to ensure that the promises that were given in the Women Charter, Youth Charter, PWD Charter, Education and Health Sector Charters, because those are some of the charters that were signed, that the government performance is in line with the promises that were delivered in this plan or in these charters. So performance monitoring and public reforms are going to be aligned with the various charters that were signed, even across the counties, the 47 counties or regional charters that were signed. So you'll find government performance will be aligned in those charters, so that there is a comprehensive document that will be at the end of the year, or maybe after 2 years, is monitored in regards to how government has performed.
Okay.
From a strategic point of view, Moses and Otas, I don't think William Ruto will be given promises in 2027. He will be issuing.
2027.
He will be issuing a scorecard. I'm not going to 2027. I'm saying, looking at it from a youth charter or youth opportunities point of view, which is our theme today, and looking at it vis-a-vis 2027. Really, the government agenda as of now is that how do we ensure that we tick all the boxes that we promised in regards to the youth charter, so that in 2027 we will not come to the youth to tell them we are going to do this to you, we are going to do this.
So just look at the scorecard.
We are going to look at the scorecard.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And the scorecard, one of the key things I think I have found, because I don't want to say I've been involved behind, but young people have been missing on the opportunities, not because they're not there.
Yes.
I think for me is for it to trickle down, there has been a missing link between these young people and the opportunities, because they are there and then they are here. So the in-between has always not been there, because you see, every government, every administration, I'm sure you've been around for long, every administration has something for the young people. Yes. Is always promising young people. But then that link, from what I've heard you say, it seems to be there in this administration.
Yes.
And I think we wait and see.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question before Otas asks you a question. How prepared are the young people for those opportunities? Because again, we can have opportunities.
Yes.
And then the people the opportunities are for are not prepared.
Yes.
What happens?
I think from how I look at it, in fact, opportunities are there. But the problem that we have been having is that people sit on the periphery, they lament, they whine, and they draw tantrums. I think looking at it, I want to come out as from an advisory point of view. I would advise young people, always have that urge, always have that leverage on the energy that you have, the knowledge that you have, the skills that you have acquired through the education system to access government information. Sometimes earlier on when I was trying to find my way in politics, you'd find when I go to a government officer, he tells me or she tells me that there are these opportunities, but young people are on the streets, they are at homes, complaining on social media. They don't want to go to the government offices and access these opportunities. So what I would ask young people is that really you need to come out of the comfort zone, go to these offices, knock to these doors, not once, not twice, always be consistent. An opportunity is coming along the way. So really we need to be an active republic. We need to have an active generation that we are fully aware of our rights. We are fully aware of our freedoms. We are fully aware of government promises. Let us hold that government account by going to the offices and asking them, where are these opportunities? I have this and this. Let me access this opportunity. The other thing, Moses, that I want our young people look at it or look for these opportunities. The best way is identify a solution in your society and identify a challenge and try to diagnose it with a solution. And that way you are going to find an opportunity along the way.
Now, Maina, maybe some young man or some young ladies watching you right now.
Yes.
And they're like, anaongea hivyo tu juu saa ashafika huko juu. So mimi mwenye niko hapa chini manzi, kabla nifike huko juu niweze hata kushika simu hivi nipigie president.
Yes.
Wacha hata president, hata nipigie MCA.
Yes.
Ni challenge.
Yes.
So what mechanisms do you have to bridge gap your leaders and the youth, so that at least they can have ease ya kuingia kwa hizi maofisi na kuongea nao watu?
You see, sometimes government is a bureaucracy. You'll find all those challenges. I don't want to cheat somebody that you can just
walk in the park.
That it's a walk in the park.
Okay.
From my own perspective, Otas, me, I don't like begging. Really, I don't like going to kneel down on somebody and tell him that have this idea, we can do this. My approach is quite different. I'll do my stuff. You'll find me along the way, and you'll look for me.
So in other words, you're saying they have to prove who they are.
Yes, prove who you are.
Look for you.
Yeah, so that this MCA or this MP or this governor We'll say that, really, I can't go to this society without this man, this young man or this young person. So from a realistic point of view and from an advantage point of view for a young person, the best way to approach it, you really don't have to go and beg an MCA or an MP to give you an opportunity. Find a challenge in the community. Try to solve that challenge. That MCA, that MP will come looking for you. So the best approach, if the challenge of our community is like transport, let me say transport, for instance. How do you solve that? From a pragmatic point of view and within your means as a person. Look for a way that you can solve it, either through technology, through the capital that you might be having, the small capital. You must be having a solution to that challenge. Either the sanitation in these estates, the environment, you can come up with a social enterprise, or you can come up with a business that is going to, you're going to create profit out of this. And you'll find these people, at the end of the time, or at the end of the day, they will come looking for you. For a politician, they worry about three things, Moses. And I've stayed around them and I know. They worry about money, they worry about people, and they worry about ideas. And it is in that order.
So they start with the money.
So if your idea is about profit making, of course this profit must be based, for you to make a profit, it must be based on how do you want to change a solution so that you make it, how do you want to change a challenge so that now people will be interested in that challenge and you are going to make profit out of it, out of that solution. So you'll find that they would be interested to be part of it. If it's about people, a politician will always be interested with about acquiring power, right? So they would be interested with people. So your idea also must be based on people, the social impact. And then the idea is way back huko. Ideas is way back huko. Because idea, anybody can have an idea. So for me, how I would advise young people to look at the society, look at it in that order. Come up with an idea that seeks to solve the challenges of the society. And everyone, corporations, big businesses, international organizations, they will be interested in you.
Wow.
You don't have to go and beg in a office so that somebody comes along the way to...
What are, like, for instance, in your view, what are the opportunities you see currently that are going to emerge from this administration?
One thing I must appreciate the President, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, is that he has the political goodwill, the government goodwill. So far, if you have looked at it, there are some gaps that his government, not even the government, him as a person, he has tried to fill. Look at the way he launched the Nairobi Security Exchange yesterday. This is really what you'd call personal goodwill as a president. It takes the goodwill of a president to activate such a strategic economic initiative. Because we have seen in the past president was more interested with what you'd call international stock exchange initiatives, the London and the New York stock exchanges. So it takes personal goodwill from the president to initiate such a thing. So I've seen and I've read his body language, and I've realized he from a personal point of view, he has goodwill towards anything that is seeking to improve the socio-economic standards of our country. So we have the goodwill from the top level office in on the land. So if you have the goodwill, that means that you can go to government offices, knock on the doors with your initiative. Don't go to beg. really when you are going on the table, you must be holding something. Go to the government offices holding something. Then from there, the government officer and yourself, you can now come with a compromise on what you would want the government to get, and what you, as a company or as a person, the initiative that you might be having, you'd want to get, so that you get to that compromise. So the opportunities are that we have those opportunities, of course, the employment in government. We have the government capital, the Hustler Fund that is going to be backed by a legal or a law from the parliament. That is the Hustler Fund from an economic point of view. The other thing is that these opportunities that the government is opening in regards to companies, the companies that have been extended, we have seen that we are going to have parastatals being trading on the Nairobi Security Exchange. These are some of the opportunities that we have. I saw and I was happy that the president was talking about that he looks forward to a day that a young person will not be sitting with his phone betting or doing the Shylock kind of business, but rather will be trading on the Nairobi Security Exchange. So these are some of the opportunities that we can look to. Shares. Now, stories to do with the buying of these securities, the bonds, the treasury bills, the treasury bonds, they should not be left to the older generation. It is something that as young people we need to be doing also.
You know, it may sound good for them, but you see, treasury bills are not cheap.
Yes.
So unless they bring them down to a place where you can, you can get a 5,000, 2,000 thing.
Yes.
I'm just thinking about the Hustler Fund.
Yes.
We have the Youth Development Fund.
Yes.
We have the Women Enterprise Fund.
Yes.
We have West Fund.
Yes.
We have several funds.
You have NGAF.
What is going to, is it an additional fund, or is it going to be channeled through that? Because when you say hustler, we have old and young hustlers.
Yes.
I mean, there are people who are old and they are hustlers,
Yes.
and there are young people who are hustlers. So are we going to, because if you say hustler is a general,
Yes.
are we going to channel them through those channels? And
how I look at it, because you don't want to create,
let me just put it in a way that you answer once,
Yes.
or have you been able to engage to know how that hustler fund will be disbursed?
For me, how I look at it, one thing is that this Hustler Fund must have a legal backing. So there must be a law that is going to back it from the National Parliament or from the National Assembly. And that's why you found the leadership of the House was very critical, because the laws of some of these proposals that were put in the plan or the manifesto of Kenya Kwanza must be backed with law.
Yes.
And some existing laws are really not progressive. They really cannot facilitate the actualization of this plan. So we first of all get it right in the National Assembly. Then, from the executive point of view, you find that some of these funds, the Women Fund, the Youth Enterprise Fund, they might be consolidated to now form the Hustler Fund, so that now we are not having so many, these funds are not working on silos. Because when you have a consolidated fund, now you can really monitor in terms of its performance and beneficiaries and what have you. So this fund, I think it will be a consolidated fund from all these funds that have been existing, and now it is going to be a fund that is really can be monitored by government. Remember, there will be a State Department on Economic Planning, and this Hustler Fund is going to be anchored on that particular department. So that department is going to look at it from how what is the target population?
Yeah.
Youth, women, marginalized groups, all those groups. Then, which are the which are the requirements for you to qualify to get that hustler fund.
I want to cut you off.
How do you benefit? How do we monitor the performance of this, the performance of this hustler fund? And we are going to ensure that they are business incubation centers, so that you're not just given a fund. You know, the tragedy we have right now, Otas and Moses, is that you access the Youth Enterprise Fund and the Women Fund, but government doesn't care about how do you grow from having that fund and it going through what you call the growth curve. The growth curve from accessing it and up to the profit-making curve or phase of a business.
I want to give you a chance.
Yes.
We are out of time.
Yes.
I want you to look at the camera for a second.
Yes.
Inspire a young person from Northeastern,
yes,
Western,
yes,
Coast,
yes,
Nairobi. Tell them because this is not just UDA youth. This is we are now in a national.
These are government youth.
Yes. Please, you have a minute.
Yes, thank you, Moses and Otas, for hosting me today. I appreciate this opportunity. To the young people of our country, we elected a government on August. That government is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, as democracy would define it. What is required of us is that we need to be proactive. We need to offer solutions to our society. We need to look at the government not as a know-it-all enterprise, not as an institution that really knows our problems. But we really need to approach the government like the people who know the problems and we have the solutions. Government can only come as a facilitating institution to our ideas, to the initiatives that we have. I know that His Excellency William Samoei Ruto has the goodwill to work with the people. The appointments that he has made are appointments that really are going to, if we have a positive mindset, we can work together, we can leverage on to offer solutions to the problems that we have. We have a youth charter that we signed with His Excellency William Samoei Ruto. I know he is committed to fulfill the promises that we signed together in June, and it is upon us to identify the gaps and to identify the opportunities within the charter that we signed, and we take those opportunities to us working together with the government.
Maina, thank you for that time. For your time. I mean, you're a busy man. I was told you're a very busy man. Everybody is busy in government now. Thank you for your time.
I appreciate
and even just getting time to be here with us.
Yes.
And I think next time we'll have a longer time.
Yes.
And we'll be able to, we will have our scorecard for you now.
Yes.
This time. What you have said,
yes,
we are going to put it in points. When you come back, we'll
yes,
tick it.
Thank you.
That's all we could say today. My friend Otas and I, this has been Wednesday Morning Digest, Elevate Television. Keeping it here is what we ask you to do. God bless you. Have a great day.
Have a good day.
Equip